you talked a lot about the journey, and of course, you talked about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which we've heard a bit about. The words that no one has said since the beginning of yesterday, no one has said Christmas, which I think is kind of funny, isn't it? It's like Black Friday and Cyber Monday were originally supposed to be part of buying gifts for people for Christmas. Somehow we turned this whole commercialization of this thing into about being about like buying for ourselves, and that's what 11/11 is in China, and that's interesting. And so I think talking with the team at Route, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, thank you so much, and we'll move right into the next
Thank
session.
you, everyone. All the best from Bucharest.
Awesome. We're going to bring Adam in right now, and Nico. Or are you guys on the same screen? No. All right, cool.
Yeah, we are in different locations, so we can bring Nico in.
Okay, well. I've got Nico here as well. Perfect. And thank you so much for joining. Looking good, coming across loud and clear. Nico's coming in here right now. Let's see. I see a blank screen, and there we are. Perfect. Awesome. I will. I've talked so much about Route in the past. If you guys don't know what this tool is, I said it at the top of the show, but like it's free. It helps. It makes you a small amount of money, but it helps your customers in a big way. It reduces customer service inquiries. It improves customer experience. And did I mention it's free? I highly recommend everyone checks it out. I'll drop a link in the chat in just a second, and I will let you guys take it away.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, Derek. I am just getting my screen shared here. You should be able to see a presentation and not a picture of my family on my other desktop. Nico, am I doing the right thing here?
Yep, it looks good.
Okay. All right, cool. Didn't need to commit that snafu, but I guess after watching the debates last night, anything I do on camera is already going to be better than anything America saw on TV last night. So.
Yeah, but I really wanted to see the picture of your family. So
yeah, maybe we'll make that a follow-up. But yeah, well, yeah. Ultimately, what we wanted to talk about is really the impact of emotions, and that's really twofold. It's the emotions that the shoppers are experiencing, not just in normal shopping behaviors, but in holiday shopping behaviors, right? Everything is exacerbated. Everything is, to quote my third favorite comedy of all time, turned up to 11, right? When it comes to making these decisions and what they're buying and how upset they're going to be if something doesn't go correctly. And then on the other side of things, the emotions that naturally just come with running a business and being a retailer in this time. So in order to give some context to that, ultimately, we need to look at where those emotions can actually be affected by the brand and what you can do about it. And so if we look at the customer journey, ultimately, it's simple. It's pre-purchase, purchase, and post-purchase. But for the last, forever existence of e-commerce, really merchants have only been able to control those first two stages. You can control your ads. You can control how they're targeted, who you're reaching out to, the channels that you use. You control the purchase experience. Whether you choose to sell through Amazon and a marketplace platform like that, or if you have built out your own store to control that experience. And ultimately, we've always measured success in a customer journey as this point right here at the end of purchase as conversion, right? Somebody bought something, yay, we won. But what we're here to talk about today is that the part that you don't control, the post-purchase, where you hand off that item that somebody bought to a third-party carrier to finish the job and actually get it to them, is where those emotions have the biggest impact on whether or not a customer will come back to you. And I really appreciated actually following up right after Valentin, because a lot of what he was talking about are the same fundamental principles. He showed in that breakdown of customer profiles, maybe you realize that your fulfillment in one city is a problem, and that's why you have all these X lovers. That's ultimately what we're talking about, is fulfillment could absolutely kill your loyalty. And that's not something that you control right now. You have to hand it off to somebody else, unless you're Amazon and you built a whole logistics arm of your company to be able to do that. And we're not just talking about really fringe little things here, right? There is a huge downside to leaving this to chance. 84% of consumers won't return to an online store after a bad delivery experience. So think about that. You did your best. You had an amazing product discovery experience. You showed them the ads. It resonated with them. They came to your site. They found what they were looking for. They checked out smoothly. But if they have a bad delivery experience, 84% of those people will not come back to you. And it has nothing to do with your brand. It has everything to do with fulfillment. And it doesn't seem fair, but 94% of brands will blame the retailer if delivery goes poorly. So as much as we would like to push the blame and say, hey, I trusted UPS to do that or FedEx to do that, the customer doesn't see it that way. And ultimately, they expect you to make it right. Now, there's upside on this too. It's not all bad news. If you can do it right, 74% of consumers report that delivery is most important to the overall shopping experience. So stop and think about that. If you think about all the money that you've spent on ads and product discovery and awareness and pre-purchase, you think about everything you've spent on optimizing your site, on conversion, on customer profiling and everything like that. And then you think about how much you spend on the delivery experience. I'm guessing that it's disproportionately low on the delivery experience, but neither of those other two stages have a 74% impact from the customers on what is most important. And so the most important part of this process is the one we have the least control over. And so we have to try to have some influence there. But ultimately, 87% of shoppers are more loyal to a brand that reimburses them for a lost, damaged, or stolen package. So if something does go wrong, if FedEx or UPS or the Postal Service or anybody that you're using does mess it up, it's not game over. If you can actually have some influence in there, there's opportunity. But we're about to start seeing headlines like this. The election's going to be over here in the next, 37 days. And the news is going to need something new to report about. And here are some amazing attention-grabbing headlines that are sure to tug at your heartstrings, right? Holiday packages are being stolen. 90,000 packages disappear daily in New York City. And then here at the bottom, a real-life Grinch steals packages from a South Tampa home right before Christmas. So these are the emotions that are being elevated. We're not just stating facts that packages are being stolen. We're going after the heartstrings of these consumers. They're thinking about it. They're worried about it. And so when that happens and they come back to you, their emotions are extremely elevated. And that's what's at stake here, is that customer loyalty in normal behaviors. As Forrester uncovered several years ago, we've known this for a while, but they uncovered it a few years ago from this quote here on the left. The way an experience makes customers feel has a bigger influence on their loyalty to a brand than the effectiveness or the ease of the experience. It's pretty wild, right? And so they also break this down over on the right-hand side, is that if you can make customers feel valued, appreciated, and confident, then that's going to drive loyalty. But if they feel annoyed, disappointed, or frustration, that's going to weaken loyalty. So enter a solution like Route. We are starting with customers who have a lost, damaged, or stolen package that with 3 taps of their phone, they can get replaced within 24 hours. Right? So we are starting with customers who are feeling annoyed, disappointed, or frustrated because grandma sent the perfect radio flyer wagon to little Johnny across the country. And it's particularly emotional because she wasn't able to see him at the family reunion this year because of COVID and travel restrictions. So it's extra important that Johnny knows that grandma's thinking about him and gets that present there on time. So when it's stolen, normal consumer emotions are way higher. But when we give them the opportunity to tap, tap, tap on their phone, and we will go buy a replacement from your brand to send to little Johnny within 24 hours, imagine how grandma feels valued, appreciated, and confident in an instant like that. And that's ultimately the solution that we have in place to take away the negative impact of all of these shopper emotions and immediately turn those negative interactions into positive ones that spark loyalty. And so for those of you that aren't familiar with the solution, you simply integrate with our e-commerce platform app, whether you're on Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Magento, or we have a custom API for anybody else. In 5 minutes, you can have this integrated in your checkout process and give your customers the option to add 98 cents to protect any order less than $100 or 2% of their cart total for anything over $100. They choose in one click to add it to their cart. There's no approval, there's no redirect, there's no form they have to fill out. And if it's lost, damaged, or stolen, they literally just have to go through like 3 or 4 taps from a confirmation that we email to them at the time they check out, and we'll replace it within 24 hours. In that experience, whether or not they've insured their package, they can track all of their packages all in one place. So they are getting push notifications about where it is. They're not reaching out to you asking, where's my order, because we're keeping them updated. And then all of those interactions they're having with the app is co-branded with your brand. So again, just the same way that they are blaming you when FedEx does something wrong, when Route creates an amazing experience for them, they are crediting you with their loyalty. is they see through that intermediary, just like they see through the negative consequences of FedEx. They see through what Route did and attribute that loyalty right back to the brand. And so as we expect heightened emotions, as we expect erratic customers, especially in a year where we're not even having Black Friday, we're having Cyber Weekend is what I've heard it branded as, right? And this is in a year where delivery companies have already been hit with volume they cannot keep up with, and they have still not caught up with. The major carriers have all removed their shipping guarantees, and we're about to hit them with even more volume than we've ever hit in the holiday season. Packages are going to be lost, they're going to be damaged, and jerks are going to steal them off the porches because they know that we're buying more stuff and having it delivered to our homes. So don't let that ruin your holidays. Don't let that ruin the opportunity for you to take these next 2 months of volume and turn it into ongoing volume for the rest of the year, just because the inevitable happened and stuff went wrong. And that's how we can absolutely reduce these erratic emotions of shoppers and turn them into lifelong customers. Now, the other side of the coin, we brought Nico along to talk about, and that's the emotions that you experience as a merchant, and ultimately how we can actually help manage some of that as well.
Yeah, awesome. Get to connect with all of you. So I was just going to share, personally with a couple merchants that I work with directly and why they love Route. And so the first one is, if you can go to the next slide, is Young and Reckless. And, they joined Route a couple months ago. But one of the specific reasons they decided to join Route is because of the visual tracking piece that we offer. And so while they're busy, fulfilling all their orders and getting it out the door, the last thing they have time for is sending updates and, when emails come in from customers asking, hey, where's my order? Route's visual tracking fills that need. And so, and also within Route too, Young and brands can have a brand profile too, where the customers are engaging with the brand from the moment the order is shipped out to the moment it arrives to their front doorstep. And within that, too, if it does go missing while it's in transit, or if it gets stolen off their front porch, while they're engaging with the brand in the app, they can actually file the claim within the app as well too. So the other brand too that loves us, and they actually joined Route around this time last year, right before the holidays, and they love us because we're just an extension of their customer service team. So the Rubis Rubbish, they have, I think their team is about 5. And they keep a tight team. And again, like Young and Reckless, they just don't have the time to handle all the claims that come in or send updates of, hey, where's my order? And so they love Route because we're just an extension of their customer service team, and we're able to handle those claims for them too. So when a customer of yours files the claim, that goes directly to our team, and we respond within 24 hours. And then we either reorder that product or give the customers a refund as well too. But yeah, these are just 2 examples of some brands that work with Route and why they love us. This is just to show you, like, Rubis Rubbish is built on Shopify, and it's seen as a product at checkout. And then there's a widget too where the customers can opt out of the shipping protection piece too. So, and again, this is just to kind of show you what the experience is. So if you can see on this Cotopaxi site, customers have the option to add the shipping protection piece, and then they can track their order in one place, engage with the brand, and they can also file a claim within the app as well too.
Yeah, so ultimately the whole picture is that we can mitigate those high emotions of the consumers, but by automating all of this, whether it's a small team who just simply can't jump on top of these unexpected but constantly happening shipping issues, or if you're a large team where you're trying to optimize that and make sure that it's an even smaller and smaller piece of customer support interactions that need to come your way, we can absolutely automate that so you can focus on making the most of those holiday season and turning this high volume of potentially one-time shoppers into hopefully returning and loyal customers over time. But ultimately, that's the way we see these holidays. It's a huge opportunity to take these one-time shoppers that are coming in because of the promotions or because of a special gift they're buying for somebody else, realize the amazing experience they can have with your brand, and find reasons to come back and shop with you over and over and over again, and simply reducing that friction. So that's what we got for you guys today. It's a little bit interesting with Rob because we are always free to the merchants. That's not a freemium model. It's not free for a little while and then you pay later. We're 100% funded just by those end customers who choose to protect their orders. And for the record, we're seeing more than 50% of orders partnered with Route, including our insurance. So customers want it. There's been a fantastic response from it out in the wild. Please reach out to me and Nico if you have any questions. We've got the easiest email addresses in the world, nico@route.com, adam@route.com. But we do have a promo. If you will try Route for 7 days, you can get it on here before the holidays. We'll send you a $100 gift card for trying it out. So just hit route.com/ecommerce tech to take advantage of that. And if any other questions, we'd just love to field those over email or whatever's appropriate if anything has come through the chat in that time, Derek.
Perfect. Amazing. I think we had one question from Will. Is this, I wonder if this is the same Will that commented on the YouTube video. I think that was the name of the person who did it. Asking about that kind of claims process from the customer standpoint. I'm pretty sure you guys do require a police report in part of this. I know that there's a fulfillment process for replacing items or something
Sure.
like that. Walk me through it on the customer standpoint really quick if I believe something was stolen off of my doorstep.
Yep. If it was stolen and the value of the package is over $100 just based off the cart value, not some other arbitrary value, but if the cart value is more than $100 and you make a claim, part of that process will be just to make a police report. Here in 2020, that's usually about a 5-question form on your local municipality's police department website. And as long as you can just submit a screenshot of filing that police report, that's all we need to move on. You don't need to wait for a response from the police department or anything like that. Just show us that you made the report so that you can weed out a few of the people who are just trying to be opportunistic and take advantage of the system.
Yeah, and I think that's part of being in the space of insurance/fraud. I've seen a lot of this occur, and I think part of the process. I don't think you do this. Other tools do this. Do you, when somebody checks that shipping insurance, are you checking who that person is and going, I don't want to give insurance to this person. They have stolen packages in the past or something like that?
Not officially. Essentially what we do is we do have an algorithm that automatically approves or denies those cases in the first round. Any claims that are denied are then kicked over to our team of humans who will give it a second look to make sure that we don't have any false negatives in there. But we will look for maybe the same address, the same email address, the same name who's been requesting a lot of replacements from the same store, from multiple stores that have partnered with us. So we do have some of those just algorithmic checks that we'll do, but there's no kind of like a credit check or a name check or a background check or anything like that. If a store is partnered with us, we will insure the order. Most of that information is just going to be surfaced at the time that they try to make a claim, and we'll notice if there's been a high frequency from the same source.
I gotcha, and that's really interesting. There are certainly other tools because you're on the product insurance side. There are other tools on the essentially on the purchase side. So if they're buying, it's like checking their credit card, checking their home address. Is this person the person that's purchasing? Is the product going like across the country while the person's ordering over here? Does their IP address match and all those things? And by the way, that's like almost it's a different problem, but I feel like it's kind of in a similar related space because obviously you're dealing with like product fraud and some forms of people trying to, let's say, double dip or something like that. And this one's
Right.
looking at that from a financial standpoint of specifically like, are they going to charge this back and things like that.
And we've got great partnerships with guys like ClearSale and Forder and guys like that who do exactly that, right? They're preventing the chargebacks. They're preventing the false positives that block somebody from making a charge when actually they were a legitimate customer, all that kind of stuff. But it's absolutely a blended conversation that we've had, is that you work really hard to convert these sales, make sure that you've got tools in place to protect those sales, that you're not being defrauded, but then also protect the physical inventory that's being shipped out, so that it's not taken advantage of by a thief at that point, or just simply a victim of circumstance with carriers who are unable to deliver or run into bumps in their process.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has dealt with some lost, stolen products being delivered. I think it's inevitable. And the real challenge, I'd say, from a business standpoint, is as you know, whether you're using Route or not, you really need a strategy for what's going to be the best for customer experience, while technically also mitigating the cost and risk of it. And that's why I love Route, actually, is because it comes in right in that mediary between those two things, and it solves for the risks, and it helps you develop the strategy. I do think in some companies' cases you have to change your whole business strategy a little bit based on whatever you've been doing from a refunds and exchange process before. But it's worth it if it works within your business model. And the one thing I'll say, because you guys, I know Route won't say this, is that because of they have a minimum on the shipping insurance rate, which I believe is like 98 cents. So if you are extremely low average order value, it won't work that well. But that's a different problem that you need to solve for, because these days, like anything under a $30 average order value is a really tough business to sustain long term. So for those lower average order value, and of course if you have digital products, then it's not for you.
Right. Yeah, if it's an intangible product, right, and the widget does automatically turn off on cart values at $4,000 or more, so that sweet spot really is kind of about that $50 average order value up to $3,999.
And does it work in the UK?
Yes. So we have clients all over the globe who are both based globally as well as who are shipping to clients overseas from wherever they're based. So we will protect orders cross borders, and we will work with merchants who are cross borders. And we've got, for those in the UK, maybe interesting, we've got an integration with PrestaShop coming here in the next few weeks, if that's a platform that you're on.
Gotcha. And really quick, I do think Will is really hounding you. This must be the same Will. Give me an example of a large brand that integrated Route into their business, and what had to change for it to work, or maybe even like a moment where they thought it might not work as a large brand.
Nico's actually personally responsible for bringing in one of the biggest brands that we feature on our website. Nico, can you touch on maybe on NZXT?
Yeah, there's a couple. So like Hibbets is one of our current clients as well, and we offer them full coverage. I'm not too sure what this rep had shared with you, but we do work with over 6,000 e-commerce stores as of today, and they all range from small to enterprise accounts. And as we've grown, we've moved up to enterprise as well. But like the enterprise accounts that I specifically work with, love working with us because we have reduced their costs when it comes to customer service teams, and handling those claims as well. And then also, when it comes to, we've reduced their costs too, when it comes to reshipping out new products or reordering for their customers as well too. I think maybe some of the biggest challenges or that I find with enterprise accounts is they don't want their customers to choose the opt-in route. So what we offer is a full coverage where the brand actually pays for the route protection on every single order. So that's where it wouldn't be free for the merchant if they decide to offer it to their customers too.
No, yeah, some subcontext.
Once you're going that way, now you're in a directly kind of red ocean competitive spot. You're competing with essentially USPS or whoever you're going to ship through, and their shipping insurance, rate and just like always buying insurance through them, right? So
The difference is though, is that we still respond to those claims within 24 hours, and we handle that, and customers want to know that their orders are still protected and being taken care of too. But yeah, I don't know.
So
any
yeah,
other.
I just to add to that, like Hibbett Sports, for example, yes, they're the ones that pay the invoice for us, but they've baked it into their cost of goods sold, or I believe in their case, into their flat shipping fees. So it's no longer a customer option that they need to interact with, but the customer feels that it's paid for by the merchant. So in this case, it's still customer funded, but it's something that the brand can have the confidence to say, I want every customer to have this because I get greater benefits of fewer claims coming to my team, greater reduction of my support teams, and I get a repurchase every time Route honors one of these claims. To your point, Derek, yeah, we are not the only insurance that exists out there. This has been around for as long as tea and spices have been shipping from the West Indies back to the UK, right? Cargo insurance is not a new thing. What is new about it is putting the shopper in charge of that. That previously it was between the merchant and the carrier, and the shopper was left out of luck that if I need to make the claim, I am dependent on you and your two timelines to figure this out and get me a solution. And that's the way that it still exists for everybody else. We come in as a DoorDash type solution saying, hey, there's 3 other ways for you to go get this food. You can drive through, you can dine in, you can carry it out if you want, and that all costs you the same, or you can add a little bit and we'll just go get it done for you. And that's who we serve, is the people that say, I don't want to deal with 20 minutes today, 15 minutes tomorrow, and 10 minutes to finalize this customer support resolution over 3 days of interactions with the brand. I just want to pay the 98 cents and tap, just get it done for me, right? I recently spent 20 minutes on the phone with Redbox just to get my $2 back because I couldn't get into the Walmart because of COVID hours. They closed and mine was reserved at a Redbox that is inside there. I couldn't believe that I spent 20 minutes for a $2 charge, right? It's absolutely the type of thing where if I could pay a little bit more for my customer support interactions to be totally taken away and I could just have a self-service model to do it, that's what Route serves. Is we're not the only way to get a package replaced or refunded, but we're absolutely the easiest and the most hassle-free.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. With that, let's move on into the next presentation. I love it. And I actually have more questions. I think we could go on for a little while. But I think we've covered it really nicely. Thank you both for joining me today.